Try and pull my soda away from the mic.
Oh no, our broadcast was deleted on Facebook.
I was only 2 minutes late, jeez.
No, it's not that. It's Facebook does weird things. So we're not going live on Facebook. We're going live on the other two, unless I just try and do it again.
We're live now.
Are we?
Yeah.
We are live. Yeah,
Right,
30 seconds now.
It didn't tell me I was live. It was getting me stuck in the thing. Anyway, a little bit of bonus content. Right, here we go.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Retrek. I'm Captain Jim, and with me, of course, is Admiral Elliot.
Hi there.
And joining us for this episode is Doctor Squee.
Pleased to be here, gents.
No, exactly. We're glad to have you back, and it's
Welcome back.
It's a good one. We've got a lot to talk about this week. Because
no, Jim. Like, just rocking out to that theme tune as I always do whenever I'm on the show. But can't help but notice, last time I was in the credits. What happened?
Well, that was because that one says...
That was an anniversary special.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so you've got to wait another 100 before we wheel that one out again.
That's fair.
So last week we recorded our episode and we had a bit of Trek news to talk about. And then literally the minute we came off broadcasting, I messaged Elliot and said the Picard second trailer's dropped, and it was unbelievable. Literally the minute after. So we're doing a special catch-up episode to talk about the Picard trailer, any other stuff that's come to light recently, and just to generally goof around a little bit. So apologies for those of you who were expecting the next in our Dominion War episodes. We will get back to that next time, but we wanted to talk about Picard today. So first of all, though, Elliot, you said you had some other news. Well,
it's actually Picard, because it's Akiva Goldsman did an interview last week. Was it last week? And he dropped a couple of little tidbits. And the first one was that there's going to be a new human crew member on board the, what's the ship's name?
The
La Serena. So, but it's going to be someone from Picard's past.
Ooh,
so
Picard's past.
So we've got to be thinking of human legacy characters. So I know that there's been lots of speculation about Geordi coming back because of all tweets and all the pictures he's done with Frakes and Spiner. But wouldn't it be nice if we got Beverly come back and we can find out what happened between them? If they did get married and they've divorced, like Q showed us in All Good Things.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, and we'll get onto this when we break down the trailers, but I'm thinking maybe that with the theme of the season being the road's not taken, I'm thinking that'd be a perfect time to explore what might or might not have happened with Beverly. But
I'm thinking, though, if we're going Q coming back and we're going deep cuts as opposed to the obvious, main crew members from the Next Generation, Vash, maybe it's a good time to bring Vash back, who did indeed go off with Q originally.
Yeah. That should be interesting. I wonder, maybe, will it be too deep a cut for some people? She's only been in 3 episodes, so...
Man, after the first series of Picard, we need the deep cuts, fam love.
No, true. Yeah. I wouldn't be unhappy with it, but...
I wouldn't, to see if they still had a spark.
Yeah, I mean, if they've said it's someone from Picard's past, now, it'll be slightly disappointing, but it doesn't mean that it's somebody that we have seen before. It could be, somebody maybe that Picard's alluded to, or, a character that he knew before we him. I don't know. It'd be very disappointing to tease it like that and then...
Yeah, And to me, like the first series, like they missed so many opportunities for fan service, so many opportunities to make us feel that love we felt for Next Generation and to remind us of like the feel of that era. Like I know it's so many years later, I get that, but like when you're watching a sequel show, you want to feel like it's a sequel to the original, and they missed them up so many times. If they do that to us again, they go, "Oh, it's someone's from Picard's past. Oh, it's his maid, which he used to have in France, which we never met. Oh, bloody brilliant." If they do that to us again, I will not be happy.
Yeah, I agree, but you never know. So what else?
You never know. Yeah, and he also dropped another sort of subtle hint, and it was addressing a complaint that they had about at the end of the season 1 when we had the Federation fleet turn up, and a lot of people asked, "Why didn't we get the Enterprise?" And he's basically said that we didn't get the Enterprise there because that was literally a one-shot throwaway of Federation ships. And when they do the Enterprise, they want to do it properly.
And also, like, let's face it, they had to get that Armada, whoever was in the vicinity. It was a load of ships. But if the Enterprise happened to be the other side of the Alpha Quadrant, so be it. You know, there's plot reasons why you can get away with it not being there as much as you want to.
Yeah, but he also said that when they do the Enterprise, they want to do it properly. They don't want it to just be one shot. It turns up with an Armada, and then it's done with. They want to show it properly, and whether or not it'll be the E or the F or the G is all up in the air.
I mean, like,
I want the Enterprise to hit me in the G spot.
Well.
I take your point.
So when we get in, I have actually got a theory which Enterprise we might be seeing.
So I take your point, Squee, that the Enterprise might not be in the quadrant, but as we know from the movies, whenever there's an emergency, the Enterprise is literally the only ship in the quadrant. So it's quite hard to believe.
Yeah, and it's always the closest ship.
Yeah.
Except for this one time, it happened. Yeah, one time.
I mean, that's quite exciting. I think that does heavily hint that we'll get the Enterprise in some capacity, which would be very...
Yeah. Plus, I also love the idea that, like, if it is Vash is the legacy person who we bring back in, like, she comes aboard the whatever the fuck the ship's called. I'm sorry, it's just not memorable. But, like, she comes aboard the ship. She's like, "Oh, Picard, I've come here to, pick up where we left off so many years ago. Oh, I love you, Vash." Then suddenly... "Oh, Q, for God's sakes, not again!"
Yeah. Yeah, and then she runs off with Q again.
I'm getting pretty pissed off with this.
I hope it's not someone rubbish like Damon Bach. Like...
I'd take Damon Bach, I would take Damon Bach.
Patrick Stewart...
he has said it's going to be a human, so...
Oh, okay, so it's not Damon Bach, then we can live with that. And, not being horrible to the character of Picard, but all his family are dead, so it's not anybody, and I didn't do that, the Generations writers did that.
Yeah.
So it can't be any of them.
That was actually Patrick Stewart who did that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just meant to be his brother, and he suggested that you make it his entire family. So it's massively devastating to him that he's lost.
Fair enough, then.
Lost the future of his family going forward.
He's like, I really don't like that actor who played my nephew.
That little shit's not coming back. Kill him off now.
Yeah, I didn't like the impression he did of me in that Rascals episode. Do not let him on my step. Anything else?
And kill the wife too. What did she do? I don't know. Just kill a whole bunch of. I'm just pissed off with a lot of them.
It's like a lot of this stuff. Like a lot of them are just going, "We're up to episode so and so in production and all that." So they're not giving away a lot.
Right.
But interview wise, that's actually quite a lot compared to what's come out recently.
Definitely. So shall we crack on with having a look at the trailers then and seeing what we think of these? So for those of you watching on the live stream, this is our first attempt at running a trailer. So if it all goes wrong, it's not...
for copyright reasons, we've had to remove the sound from them.
Yes, we don't want to get sued by a great Paramount Plus machine.
So those just listening will just hear us talking about the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. She's,
those watching can watch it with us.
Yeah.
And if they've developed any system of video copyright, then these are just a collection of images which might resemble.
Yeah,
we could gather them together.
I mean, if anything, they should thank us because it's advertising and we're putting more advertising out there. So let's have a look then. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the first trailer we got for Picard. So this is from a while ago, made into Q. So they're emphasising the Q on it, whereas before it was just a handful of cards, queens, and we did make the link at the time, didn't we? We said, the would be the Borg queen, but the letter...
Well, we went. It's the 5 lights. The queen for the Borg, Q, the heart because he had his heart, he lost his heart.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I didn't even think about that one.
And I just want to pause it there as well, because this is possibly the weirdest thing in the trailer. The tablet that you see on the table there is the same tablet that Cisco smashed up in The Reckoning, I think. Was it The Reckoning?
Yeah.
Before The Reckoning. Was it the one where he built the city?
I think it's The Reckoning.
Reckoning.
It's where the archaeologists on Voyager had found the tablet.
Yeah.
And it mentions the emissary, and he took it back to the station to sort of study it and have Dax study it. Then the Kai came up and kicking off a fuss and all that, demanding it back. So he let her take it back, but then he destroyed it.
So this
Kai.
This is either reusing a prop that they've had lying around for 20 years, or is there some greater significance to the fact that this is a Bajoran artifact directly linked to Cisco? And we know we're doing a story about time travel. Cisco is currently existing outside of time.
Well, when Cisco vanished, it said that he would be back, but it might be tomorrow. It could be like 10 years from now. It could be 100 years in the past.
Exactly. And
he'd just come back.
This is another one of these that, I would absolutely love to see Avery Brooks back as Cisco. That would be amazing. But
there has been rumours, hadn't there, flying around that he may be coming back in as a small role. Not a series like Kate Mulgrew and Patrick Stewart, but that he will be making an appearance.
But
and a time travel story would be perfect.
Well, it would.
And I heard rumours that a butterfly net was seen outside Cisco, Avery Brooks' house. Which, I love that guy, but he is the only person who I've ever seen out batshit Shatner. Just those two. Those two together.
That interview is just absolute magic. I mean, I felt really bad for Shatner in it, and usually I feel Shatner's interviewing.
I swear they were having 2 completely different interviews, but Shatner was completely into it. Shatner was genius in that, as was Avery Brooks. God knows what the hell he was on about, but it was lovely.
Oh, definitely it was. But, yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that this is just a prop that they flung in there, maybe to represent the fact that Picard's into archaeology. But the problem is, if they've done that, you're really dicing with death doing this to Star Trek fans. There's no way you can put up an existing Star Trek prop in a trailer and we will not recognise it and we will not work out and we will not speculate.
It's got to be there for a reason, and I'd like to think that in some way the profits are going to be linked into all this.
See, that would make perfect sense. I mean, we'll talk about it a bit more in when we watch the second trailer in a few minutes. But
let's face it, though, it's not like that prop would just be around 30 years later. They've had to have found that. There's no way that's coincidence unless it's a bit of a way to fuck with us, which would be me.
I imagine that they've just recreated it. I imagine that prop. I imagine that prop was probably thrown away at the end of that episode of DS9, or at least when production of DS9 ended.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I mean, it'll take someone with a much keener eye than us, but somebody needs to look and see if this is damaged the exact same way as the one from the episode. You know, is this just a smashed tablet, or is it that smashed tablet? Somebody needs to find that out for us and let us know. But as I say, we've not really got a side-by-side comparison. Paradise Lost, is that significant in any way? I mean, that's the fall of Lucifer, isn't it, from heaven into hell, and is that metaphorical maybe from Picard's fall from grace? But we explored that pretty much.
Yeah.
Or what about Q's fall from the continuum?
Ah, even better. Yes, I like that idea. Could this be a Q who's outside of the... I mean, he was always on rocky...
On the fringe.
Yeah.
That's why it sets it up so perfectly. Like, his history is set up for him to be at odds with his people who are gods themselves.
Yeah, I think that's much better take on it, and I hope that is the case. That'd be... Could it be Q coming to Picard for help with something which it wouldn't be the first time, but...
Yeah.
I think
maybe we're going to see a grander unraveling of time of some description, not just when he says the end of the road less taken. How about if it's the, like, Q's trial has taken on a life of its own. Now the continuum have taken over from him because they, the trial was a nice idea, but you've got too close to your subject matter. We're going to end this human race ball, and somehow Q's giving him a chance beyond his people.
It could absolutely be that. Shall we take a look at the second trailer then, which does give us a bit more than the first one? So we're back at the chateau again, but... So I'm guessing this is the real chateau. This isn't the hollow recreation, because he's looking for the Romulans.
Yeah, I think what's happening here, if you want to pause it a minute...
Yeah.
I think what's happening here is that whatever's happened where time has altered, this is the point where he's realising it.
Yeah.
And I think that as this trailer goes on, we're actually seeing all of them at this point. And I think literally the crew of the La Serena, or however it's pronounced,
the Macarena.
Something has happened on that ship to them. And they're the only ones that know that things have altered.
Yeah, so this is the classic, our heroes on their ship are out of normal space-time somehow, so everything that happens around them.
Yeah. Just a thought which occurs to me in this instant. Now, when we last saw Q in All Good Things in Next Generation World, they were flashing forward to a time much kind of around the time zone we're in. Mm-hmm. What if this directly? Yeah. If this is somehow an after effect of what they did back then, in real time, in the time which it related to?
Yeah, it could be. Yes, if this is the time when the anomaly would have been created, but it's not been created, maybe that's had some huge traumatic impact on the timeline. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, obviously. It's great to see Q again. And just the look on Patrick Stewart's face there. They've still got that chemistry between them. And that's clear.
Yeah.
Even if you get very little interaction there. It's like, that is the face of a man who is really annoyed to see someone.
Yeah. If Picard here has just realised something has happened, everything has changed around me. Fucking Q's here, what have you done?
That look says, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm like 100. What the fuck's happening here?
Yeah.
Oh, Q's here, for fuck's sake.
But on the other hand, Picard's been through a lot of space-time anomalies and problems, and the ones that Q has been involved in have generally been easier to fix than the ones that Q has not been involved in. So... in a way, I'd be quite relieved. I'd be like, well, Q's here, and I know I can outwit Q, so we'll be able to...
But Can he outwit Q when his knees are going at his age? But one thing I do notice is that...
Well, yeah, because he's an android now.
That's true enough. But we've got the Picard, it's got his comm badge on, which last we knew he wasn't back in Starfleet or anything. So maybe this talks to some of the changes.
Maybe so, yeah. And well, we're going to see some more of that later in the trailer. But you're right, it's not the La Sirena comm badge there, is it? It's the...
That's the Arrowhead.
The Arrowhead.
Starfleet.
And then Q, which, great to see John Delancey back again. Like, once again, he's just got that sparkle in his eyes straight away. It's so good to see people, how easily they slip back into these characters. But
also, I just do have to very quickly, because when we spoke about Q returning, and Elliot said something. So wait a second. Calling it that Q was going to age himself up to mock Picard. My hat is off to you, sir.
Yeah, we've actually got a picture here I put together, and we've got how Q aged himself in All Good Things compared to how he looks here. If you want to put that one up, James.
Yeah, we've got a comparison there. So this is real old Q and fake old.
So like. There's been a lot of people complaining about Q being aged, but why weren't they complaining in 1994 when he did it in All Good Things then?
Yeah, and also what I would love to have seen is him come on with the wild eyebrows and the wig, and then going, maybe a little bit of a haircut, and then he just makes it disappear.
Which he might
I've got a feeling that we're not actually seeing the start of this clip.
No, I don't think
Q. I've got a feeling that we're going to see him at first appear how he was, and I think they'll have used de-aging on him. But they don't want it cost a fortune to do it through the entire 6 episodes he's going to be in. So we'll go from de-aging, and he'll see how John Luke's aged, and he's going to age himself to fit in with him.
Yeah, I mean,
he comes out of the shadows like as young Q, going, you're older than expected, and then
change it. Yeah, because like you say, you've got that line where he says you're older than I expected. So I think that'll be if you'll pardon the pun, the cue for him to change his appearance again.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we get then. So we're back at Starfleet Command, and we've got Picard in his Admiral's uniform there that we saw in several of the flashbacks.
All those flags, we see the different races which are currently in the Federation at that time.
Yeah, like
which is odd because we've got the Ferengi, Bajor, and the Klingons are added into the Federation.
Which, I mean, the Ferengi, bizarrely, the Ferengi are the ones that I find least likely at them. I suppose Rom took over as Grand Nagus, so there's probably been a bit more. It's probably a more progressive Ferengi now than we've seen before.
I think this is all part of the time change. Because Picard is back in Starfleet. Picard hasn't left Starfleet. So he's part of Starfleet still.
You think this is Picard now rather than a flashback?
Yeah, I think this is Picard now, and I think part of what's happened is that time has been altered. So for whatever reason, Picard didn't leave Starfleet.
Yes, that would be my.
But I think whatever's happened. I actually think whatever's happened has happened hundreds of years before this. I think it's actually a long way back that things have changed.
Because I'm with you.
And I think Q gives us the. Q gives us the clue for that. When he says this is the road's not taken, because he's talking about the theme song from Enterprise.
Oh God!
Yeah, and there's been lots of speculation that we're getting Captain Archer back, and I think the Enterprise that we're going to see when they do it properly is the NX-01 with its refit.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yes, I'd be up for that. So, if that's the right scenario then, Elliot, and that's what's going on, does Picard know that time's been changed, or is he having to play along with it?
He knows it's changed, but he's having to play along. Well, right. And I think Q is off to put him on the. is off to be moving them around places and through time to fix what's gone wrong. Okay. And I think that's going to be the whole premise for the 2 seasons.
I'd love that.
Because we got them clips linked where we had 7 of 9 and Raffi, and it looked like they were back in the 21st century on a sort of modern, a futuristic bus to us. And it had that poster on the side of it about taking a space flight and all that, booking your trips on the space flight. So, like, we've got that new badge, haven't we? That looks like it's got sort of modern style roads, like a spaghetti junction.
Yes, that's possibly the most confusing aspect so far of the promotional stuff, but we'll take a look at that when we're done. Squee, did you have something?
Yeah, you see, I'm definitely seeing this as being the maybe the altered reality Picard, if we will. I think they are saying that those are the races which are in Starfleet. Now, I think it would be just really interesting to show that over the time which we've been away, things have evolved. Some different races have joined in. That's always been the mission of Starfleet, of course. Even the most unlikely of people become allies. I think I'd kind of dig if they did that thing which they did in All Good Things. Maybe again doing that extra bit of fan service, welcoming us in by saying, like, Picard to begin with is getting confused, like he did when he was jumping through time. Right. He starts to begin with, it's like he starts doing stuff and he goes, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? As he did in that earlier clip. So I love the idea of maybe even stepping between the 2 realities, and he's got to make one the dominant reality. So we see, I know we haven't got to this bit in the trailer yet, but we see 7 of 9 rubbing where her Borg implants.
Yeah.
So maybe she's starting to feel those changes as well, and they're kind of getting pulled between these different realities. Maybe you chuck in loads of different realities to it, because that's time being unstabilized.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if it's a case of one of these things where history changes around everyone, so nobody knows what's going on, but maybe Q snaps Picard out of it and goes, I need you to fix it, so I'm going to make you aware of the real timeline or whatever.
Because his history of being taken through time by Q, maybe that's something which makes him more aware of the changes to everyone else.
Yeah, possibly so. So then we've got... It starts cutting really quickly and we get a bunch of different characters. So we're seeing... We got Rios there and he looks like he's wearing a Starfleet.
Yeah, and if you look at all the Rios clip, he sort of looks down at his badge as if he's shocked to see it there.
Yeah, but
and if you look at the chair's got a Federation Delta on it,
right?
So it's like it's a Federation ship.
But he's on last.
And wasn't Rios does have the history of Starfleet?
He does, yeah. So it could be, what if Rios didn't leave Starfleet either? I mean, my big theory on this is that this is pretty much that 2-part episode of Friends where it starts in the coffee house, as many episodes of Friends tend to do. And I think it's something like Rachel's ex... the guy who Rachel left at the altar is getting married again or something. And Barry, that's it. And Rachel says, like, oh, what would have happened if I had have actually married him? And then Ross says, oh, what would have happened if I never got divorced? And Joey says, what would have happened if I didn't leave Days of Our Lives? And so on and so on. So they all come up with one what if. And then they say, oh, can you imagine if all them things happened? And then it goes into the credits. And then we get 2 episodes, basically, of alternate universe episode of Friends, which probably shows that your sitcom's maybe been running for too many years, that you have to start that. But it was a pretty good 2-parter. But I'm essentially wondering, is that what we're getting here? So is it going to be, what if Picard didn't resign? What if Rios didn't leave Starfleet? What if Seven never became part of the Borg?
No, I think what we're seeing here, I think that we're seeing the different, that whatever's happened to alter things, we're seeing all the crew are realising that they're in an altered timeline. All these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, okay. I think you get one Nexus event which causes all this, and Q knowing that this is the people who Picard is with at the moment, they're all kind of like brought into his kind of like circle of people who are allowed to know what's going on.
Yeah. So we've got Sergi there. Well, we assume it's Sergi. It could be Daj if it's an alternate timeline.
Strangely enough, if you go onto the cast for Picard now, it has it. She's listed as Daj and not Sergi.
Yeah. You see, I think she's like extra perplexed because, as far as she knew, she's been dead the last year or so.
Well, that's it. So that's if it's Daj, but I'm wondering if it is Sergi, we could have pretty much the same character arc again, because this could be Sergi not knowing she's an android, and then she has to deal with that again. So, yeah, I don't know.
And like when we have Jurati there, that looks like she's in prison, and it has been said that she was off to hand herself in for murdering Maddox. Yeah.
And there's a little kind of like almost like a T, upside down T on the comm badge there.
Yeah, it's almost like the medical cross, but yeah, it's more like a sword or I wonder.
Yeah, it's not quite. It's not quite Mirror Universe, but it's getting that way to
not full on. But you're saying it's not quite Mirror Universe, but them gloves that Rios is rocking there are quite.
Yeah.
Oh, guys. And if you've got like these unlikely allies to the Federation being in the Federation, such as Ferengi and Klingons, militaristic and commercialistic, like if they're bringing those elements which usually wouldn't be Starfleet in, maybe we have crossed into the Mirror Universe.
Maybe, or something similar to the Mirror Universe, even if, maybe the Prime Universe is becoming more mirror.
In the future, in the Mirror Universe, maybe the sword head is part of their emblem.
It could be, yeah. And then we finish with this sequence with 7 of 9, and it's very cleverly shot, this, so they deliberately don't show that part of her face. See, what's that there that she looks at?
Well, that's another badge, but it doesn't look like... Yeah, it looks like another form of badge, but it doesn't look like a badge that we're used to.
That to me looks very Borgish.
Yes, it does. It also kind of looks like, from this angle, it looks like that spinning top that Leonardo DiCaprio's got in Inception. So, I mean, maybe we're doing a crazy crossover here.
Crossover!
Yeah, it could be a Borg symbol. It could be... Yeah, I wonder... But she's definitely in something, whether it's Starfleet, whether it's Borg fleet, whatever. But then, obviously, the big reveal is that she doesn't have the implant on her face. So,
and she's shocked by it.
Yeah,
and that's why I think that it's all of them sort of becoming aware at the same time that they don't belong in that reality.
On that Borg ship, which was kind of separated from the Borg hive, and they were kind of trying to live out a peaceful existence. Maybe in this alternate universe, that's the symbol for them. Maybe they've gained some independence. Maybe then you set up the stakes of it's not quite as simple as if you put everything back to normal, everything will be better. Maybe this is a casualty they would have to do that. So maybe like Picard has to go to 7 of 9, and she has to sacrifice what would have been the golden version of the timeline for those people, but not for everyone else. That way you get to bring him back in E-Chip and Hugh.
Oh gosh, can you imagine Manu Intireme be like really pushing himself to return to the role of E-Chip?
Yeah, but they recast him, didn't they?
They did, and I don't think he was best pleased about it, but maybe he'll get another crack at it. I mean, it's not like he showed public support for disgraced actor Kevin Spacey or anything. I can't imagine what he did might have put them off hiring him again. But you never know. So let's have a look at the poster then. So, yeah, this is... Because I don't think there's anything in those two trailers to tell us that we're going back to the past or, the present. No,
well...
the future for the
reason I'm thinking the past is that we had them leaked photos and we've avoided them since, haven't we?
And you're quite right. Like this picture, for anyone, obviously, who's not watching live, it's the poster where it's the Starfleet Delta, but it's made up of freeways, effectively.
Like Spaghetti Junction, as you said before.
And that is a very modern look, and the cityscape we can see on the horizon is very modern. I'm sure people who are more familiar with American architecture can probably identify the city. It doesn't look like New York to me, and that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge.
I'm going to imagine it's because normally we get San Francisco, don't we?
Yeah. So, probably San Francisco.
But may I offer something? Because to me, all this makes me think of is whenever they do the Q continuum, it's always a metaphor for the continuum. So it's the Civil War or it's something else. And this maybe is a Q-style metaphor. Maybe Picard gets to go here to the Spaghetti Junction of timelines. And this is the metaphor he uses to exemplify what the hell's going on, because these roads are all out of whack. Like, we're able to travel between one to another because it's all messed up.
Yeah, and that'd tie back into the road not taken idea, which is, it's a reference to a poem by Robert Frost, which it's a very well sort of known, particularly in America, poem about, basically it's a guy traveling and he sees two paths. One of them's more trodden than the other one, and he chooses the other one, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. So he chooses the less trodden path. But so that would imply that we're having someone making a choice in terms of which road we're going to go down, which ties into the idea of, does 7 of 9 have to sacrifice something? And that's obviously your classic thing that you get in your time travel stories, isn't it? You get a glimpse of a better world, but you have to give it up for the greater good. So who knows? Harry
Kim may have made it back to Starfleet, but what about the rest of them?
Yeah, well, there it looks like she's not 7 of 9. It looks like she's Annika, and it looks like she's married, and she's obviously never. Her parents didn't take her to the Delta Quadrant, and she got assimilated. She's had a happy life wherever she is.
Or in this, again, if we're going down my idea of it being she's from that Borg ship, which they've reclaimed, maybe because in this timeline they've managed to do better work with reassimilating them back to look human.
Yeah, maybe, with this timeline, we treat the X-Borg better than we did in the original timeline, and we help them quicker.
I'm wondering if they've never even met the Borg.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
If so much has changed that Q never even flung the Enterprise D across to introduce us to the Borg in the first place.
Here's a thought.
And that's why I'm thinking that whatever has happened, I'm looking at these roads and the look. I'm not going to say it look like our time. Maybe 50 or 100 years from now, and we'd still have roads and that sort of infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And that take us to sort of like Enterprise time. Like, I wonder if the road not taken is that we took Vulcan's advice and we didn't take the Klingon back.
Possibly.
If it's some as obscure.
Well, if it's not, though, I think Starfleet doesn't exist. But surely that's the reason why Starfleet exists. Because
Starfleet exists, but it's grown in a different way because it didn't have that where they went out before they were ready.
Yeah,
when they went out, they waited and they were ready. Then. And that's why you've got the Ferengi a part of them, and like we maybe still have capitalism on Earth within the Federation. That's why the Ferengi are part of it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, my kind of what if for this was, because we're seeing so much of Picard in the uniform, all these other people, Rios is part of Starfleet. I'm wondering if this is what we see when Picard didn't make the decision at the beginning of the like when they do the flashback of Picard throwing his toys at the pram, maybe he capitulated. Maybe he stayed within Starfleet. What happens if he doesn't make those decisions, which then gets a first officer to leave Starfleet as well? Like all those people stay in Starfleet. You've got the Borg don't get the assistance, or don't get the help in the same way that they got previously. Yeah. You get because the whole series 1 was based on the idea that Picard had made a mistake. But what if in this timeline there are actually some things which are better as well as some things being worse? Maybe him. Oh yeah. Because he keeps on saying all the way through, "Oh my God, I shouldn't have done it." Well, after about halfway through, he realizes he has this come to Jesus moment. He shouldn't have stepped down from Starfleet. And Q has always been about showing Picard how wrong he can be about stuff. And we have that episode Tapestry where you get to see what would happen if he didn't get stabbed in the heart by the Nausicaan, and he didn't have that fire in his belly. I think he needed the fire in his belly of standing down to then be in the right position to put things right later. Yes, I think this would be a wonderful opportunity to show that he needed to do what he did.
I'll tell you what will be nice in all this, because it's strongly hinted, and it very much looks like time travel is going to be a big part of the next 2 seasons of Picard. And it's been hinted that Q is going to be in Strange New Worlds to sort of set up the events of Picard. So hopefully could we be getting a Picard and Strange New Worlds crossover episode coming up?
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be everyone from Picard goes back in time to the Enterprise with Strange New Worlds, but a couple of them into it, and putting something right in that time, and that there's maybe little nudges that have to be made all over the place to put the timeline back.
The thing with having 3 different live action Star Trek shows now in 3 distinct different timelines, the fact that we've got Q, he is the character who can bridge all of that if he wants to.
Yeah. I always thought it was a great mistake where you do have these different times for Star Trek. You had the ultimate opportunity in like when they did Enterprise of having a future crew travel back to the past in a current show, and I think it was such a missed opportunity. They never did anything like that, and now we get the opportunity to rectify that. That's why
I think if you're going to be doing time travel and you've got 3 live action shows, they might not go as far. They might not put him in Discovery. I think they might just let Discovery do its thing. Because I still think Discovery will get this season coming up and 1 more, and that'll be it 5 seasons, and it'll go to movie.
Maybe.
But I think that it's all there for Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. Well, I've just come up with a theory now while we've been talking. What if the thing that has changed in this new timeline is that the Q Continuum have decided to remove Q completely, rather than banishing him from the Continuum? Maybe they decide, right, we've had enough of your shenanigans, Q, now. It's gone too far. We're going to remove you from history, and therefore Starfleet don't meet the Borg because Q doesn't do that. 7 of 9 doesn't become a Borg, and Picard's life becomes very, very different because Q has been there at all these critical junctures in Picard's life. And going, like you were talking about, going further back in time, we know that Q's interfered with mankind's history time and time again. So pretty much any change you can justify within the storyline by saying, well, Q wasn't there to intercede,
to make that happen,
point, or to stop it happening, or whatever it might be. So maybe it's something like that. But then Q, being Q, he somehow manages to escape from it and escapes to find Picard to basically try and get Picard to save him from.
He maybe can't do anything himself anymore, but he can send other people.
He needs,
he tells them what to do.
It somehow. Yeah, I don't know. But no doubt we'll find out quite soon once we move on to once we actually get season 2, which I think it's starting early next year, is it now, they've said?
They've said 2022. I still think we'll get Strange New Worlds first.
Possibly, yeah.
I want them all now. I can't wait. Wow.
Well, I think they've said...
We know why it's all delayed, but I think we're going to get Discovery first, aren't we?
Yes, it's looking like...
They've said Discovery is going to be back end of this year.
Like we said a few episodes ago, I think we're going to get one of the animated shows, then Discovery, then another animated show, then Strange New Worlds, then Picard. But
I think how it's looking because of delays to production due to COVID, that we'll get both animated shows first, then we'll go Discovery, Strange New Worlds, Picard.
Possibly.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they're shooting both seasons of Picard, because originally they said Originally, Picard was going to be 3 seasons, and I think they'll stick to that. And I think whatever's happening in this two seasons is going to finish the story of Picard.
Yeah, I think so.
One way or the other. And I think this is where they've said that they won't do the Section 31 until one of the others finish production. So I think that'll go into production when Picard finishes.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And they'll have kept Michelle Yeoh on a contract because they'll have told her this is happening.
What show have we got actually coming up next then? What's the first one we got?
We're not.
Do we know when?
It's
either going to be Prodigy or Lower Decks.
My money's on Lower Decks because I'm pretty sure I heard they were eyeing up an August release date for Lower Decks.
Ooh.
They were also eyeing up an August release date for Prodigy. So
it could be
or Double Drop.
I think we worked this out, didn't we? That if they do the 2 animated shows starting roughly August, it'll run to when they're planning to start Discovery.
Yes. Yeah.
So they may be going to that where they may be holding the animated ones back, and I'm sure that they could probably run with one or the other now.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's maybe an idea that with where they've got Lower Decks returning for a second series, which was so popular. I know, obviously, there's more people who are adults who can cross over from Lower Decks to Prodigy than the other way round. So maybe they just want to launch it for that 1-2 punch. You know, you get those people who are into Lower Decks who can also watch Prodigy, and you also get that completely new young market for that.
I think they may be going to trying to doing what they wanted to do, where you'll literally have new Star Trek every week. All year long, and they're holding back the release of the first one so that we can fall into that.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wouldn't surprise me when you look at things like what Disney Plus is doing at the minute. With all the shows they've got announced, they seem to want to have a Marvel and or a Star Wars show pretty much every week of the year. Again, COVID's delayed a lot of it, but when you look at the slate they've got coming up, the sheer amount, you're like, even if they're only 6 episodes apiece, that's going to be... So there's no reason to suspect that Paramount Plus wouldn't want the same kind of thing. And
I want Star Trek. I want Star Trek to become like the Seven Bridge. When they're done painting it, they just start going back the other way again. When we finished all the roster, we just go back.
Well, if you've got 5 shows running and they've got 10 episodes per season, because we know Lower Decks is 10 episodes, we know Prodigy is 10 episodes, we know Strange New Worlds is 10 episodes, so it's not a long stretch to imagine that the other 2 will go to 10 episodes each. No. That's 50 weeks of the year, which gives you a Christmas break and another break.
Yep, and that'll do for us.
Which in America, I imagine, would be Independence Day or something like around that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start wrapping it up then, guys. So, any last thoughts or theories on Picard?
What a golden age of Star Trek to be in. I mean, how fantastic. I think what I love about this, and breaking it down with you good gents, is that we've come up with at least 4 different versions of the show, which I'd love to see. and we probably will get a amalgamation of them. And hopefully, just please don't do a Picard series.
Yeah.
Please, like they've shown us so many ideas of fan love in this that if they then miss that mark again, it would just dash my middle-aged heart.
Yeah, like I honestly think that they're shooting Picard season 2 and 3. We know they're shooting them back to back at the same time, and I think part of it is his age. They want to make sure they've got it in the bag because he's not getting any younger. But do us the fan service during these two seasons. We know we've got Whoopi Goldberg back. We've probably got Geordie back. Give us something with Beverly. Give us the fan service of all these different people. Bring Avery Brooks back to show us why they'd be showing tablets on his table. Yeah. Bring Archie back for his little cameo appearance.
And let's face it, I mean, look, the one show, I don't mind when they reinvent things, but in every other Star Trek, they've done things which are based on the other things, so you can see that continuation, even if it's very different. Like in Discovery, they just showed us a whole new future, but you could feel it was based on the future we knew. And Picard, the one series where you need to do that, and they didn't. That was the one series where they made everything completely different and feel like nothing.
If they give us 2 seasons of pure fan service. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know there'll be a whole load of the community that'll go, oh, they're only doing this for fan service. You've complained for 2 years. That's what you want.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I would like
doesn't mean you have to
it.
Copy.
I would like to see it strike a bit of a balance. Like, I'm absolutely up for fan service, but I want a really good original story that we've not seen before.
Yeah.
I want to see.
I want a good story, like they showed us in season 1 in what was it, Nepenthe, that they can bring legacy characters back in a great way. They've shown us they can do it and it work within the story. So do that for us.
And I feel like this Discovery is a perfect example. Again, they showed us a completely new world, a completely new story. It was not derivative, but it was built on what we know. Like, that's what Star Trek needs to be. You need to feel like it's Star Trek. With Star Wars, it's the same thing. There is a certain world it exists in, and Mandalorian just did a fantastic job of showing us something new, but built on the world it already existed in. And that's what this needs to be.
Yeah, and fingers crossed it will be. Doctor Squee, what have you got coming up on the Doctor Squee show?
Tomorrow, 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. on the bear.live here in the UK time. Please check out local time zones. Tomorrow we've got one of my fellow DJs from the Bear, Gems, joining us from the new Feel Goods music show. We've got to talk to me for a little bit. We've got Eddie Pence, fantastic American stand-up comedian, and the big question of the week this week, if I can remember it, is, what was the first thing which made you feel like an adult? So join us and send us in your suggestions on all the social medias. Just look up the Doctor Squee Show. Thank you.
Excellent. We'll look forward to that one. And I think that about does us for this week. I think we had some other stuff we were going to do. We were going to play like a what-if game and whatnot, but I think the Picard trailer, there was more to get into than we expected.
We kind of did. We kind of did what if as we went.
Yeah, we may come back to stuff like that further down the line. And obviously, the very second we stop recording here, the Strange New Worlds trailer will have dropped. So we'll have to come back and do another one.
Oh, please do. I'm dying for a Strange New Worlds trailer. We've had 2 Picard trailers now.
But for right now,
the 70% finished Strange New Worlds.
They're holding it back. They know that's the one we want to see. Right now, though, let us know what you think. You can message us at RetrekPod on Twitter. You can email us retrekpod@gmail.com. Or you can come and join us on Facebook. And thanks for trekking with us this time. We will see you next time on the Retrek.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Fascinating.